Good evening, everyone. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor White,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Antoine,
Here.
Councilmember Martinez,
Here.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Here.
Right, will you all please stand for the pledge?
Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda review.
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
All right. There's just one item on the agenda tonight, consideration of filling District 1 City Council seat. Oral report.
I don't have much of a report. I can remind council that Councilmember Antoine put in her resignation upon appointment of her successor. So if tonight you appoint somebody new, that person will be sworn in at the next council meeting. So she will sit here with you all at the beginning of the meeting, and then the new person will be sworn in, and then she'll take her place in the audience or go home. And then I think your process tonight is to interview. You have 5 questions to interview the 5 applicants, and then deliberate and make your decision.
Okay. Any public comments? All right. Great, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ernest Gallardo. I reside at 212 San Antonio Drive. I read somewhere a long time ago that definition of integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. Well, everybody's watching today. So on that premise, let's hope that you do the right thing, that you put the person who's most deserving to be up there, and not the one that you think is because he's your best friend, or he came over and cut your lawn, or he helped you with your car, the most qualified individual. So like I said, City of Greenfield's watching you guys, and let's hope for the best. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
I repeat, I'm agreeing with what Ernest said, that you picked the right person, not because of your best friend or whatever. Angela, I'm going to miss you when you move, by the way. Okay? And Yaneli, I wish I had seen you a lot sooner. All right? And I'm sorry I didn't get to know you also. Okay?
I really wish this was after the interviews because I wrote this. Anyways, Stephanie Garcia before you tonight as a District 1 voter and resident. And I'm also speaking on behalf of 2 other D1 voters in my household, my husband and my daughter. So throughout this process, and even this evening, there have been murmurings about appointing the right person so that Ms. Antoine, Mayor Pro Tem Antoine, can leave office reassured that District 1 is in good hands. Unfortunately, with her resignation so soon after being elected, D1 is now faced with inconsistent leadership. We have tonight's appointment, a midterm election in 24, and another election in 2026. So essentially, tonight's appointment is a short-term stopgap measure. You all know what critical issues the city faces and how they can change from day to day. And I feel that the right person for D1 is someone with the knowledge and experience of serving in local government and who can assume the seat's responsibility without missing a beat. Luckily, we have such a candidate. Drew Tipton just finished serving 4 years on the city council. He represented the city on the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority, South Salinas Valley Broadband Authority, and was an alternate for TAMC. Prior to that, he served 8 years on the Planning Commission and 5 years on the Greenfield Fire District Board of Directors before the city assumed control of fire protection for our residents. With all due respect to you and the applicants, no other applicant has the experience and institutional knowledge of the city's past and current development, housing projects, and ongoing infrastructure and public safety needs and issues. It also should be pointed out that he actually ran for the seat last November. Running for an office takes months and months and isn't easy. It requires making and keeping the commitment to serve, gathering signatures, completing paperwork, campaigning, participating in public forums, FPPC documents, and waiting out the election results. It's very different from a one evening Q&A process. So I respectfully request that you please take into consideration how extremely close the D1 race was, a difference of 17 votes. The voters of D1 must be top of mind, not your personal preferences, when rendering your decision, because while we did not ask to be placed in this predicament, our votes and collective voices are being stripped away with a decision that is now left in the hands of 5 individuals. I do wish you happiness on your future endeavors, and thank you for serving.
Anyone else in chambers? If not, I do see one hand raised.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. I am also a voter from District 1. Tonight, you council will be filling District 1 council seat. I would like to say to my District 1 council member, Angela Antolat, thank you. Thank you for your responding to those that reached out to you whenever there was a concern, question, etc. We will miss you. Best of luck on your new journey. Mayor, council, I know that it will be a hard decision tonight. I have read all the applications and I see great candidates with good hearts in mind for our city. I see 4 new applicants that have never been on council, but have a great ideas for our city. And I see vision, commitment, dedication of time and energy, understanding of teamwork, motivated to serve public interest, communication. I also see that one former council members that on a application, even though these 4 candidates have never been in council, that does not mean that they don't qualify for the council seat. We have Council Member Ortiz, Council Member Rodriguez, and they are both doing great. And they were never on council prior to their seating. My respects to council on choice of candidate. Best of luck to all candidates. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Anyone else? If not, then,
No one else.
okay. Braulio, if you could pass out those numbers and we'll get started with the questioning and answering. Looks like there is one person online, so
Yeah, that's,
go ahead and pass out let them choose which one they want to be, and we'll give Mr. Tapia the last one there.
that's what I wanted to ask Mayor. If we could do maybe a roll call for see if the candidates are here. I know we see 3, but there's 1 or 2 that we don't know by face.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Cuauhtemoc Gándara,
Are you, Mr. Gandara, are you here? Okay.
Andrew Tipton.
Present.
Jose Vasquez. Raúl Tapia. He's on Zoom.
Okay, I believe he's online.
Yes. Luis Dominguez. That's all.
All right. So take 4 numbers and let them.
Do you want, Mayor White, would you like Mr. Tapia to appear on camera for his interview?
That would be good. I think the more information we have, the better.
That way you two can, and everyone here can verify that.
Okay.
We have 2 numbers left because Cuauhtemoc is not here. So I don't know what number you want to
Okay.
assign to.
Pick whichever one is the one for him.
Number 3.
Okay. All right.
And then Mr. Tapia, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Are you
Yes,
able,
I can hear you guys.
are you able to appear on camera for the interview?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We would like to see you if we could. So we're going to move forward without on camera, or what are we going to do here? What do you want?
I think after the city council to determine, whether you ask him to come to council chambers or if you're on camera, or if you're okay with him doing his interview.
Myself personally, I think I would like to see him or have him here in chambers. The other people have made, taken the time to show up there. So I think it's only right that he be here. That's my reason.
For them to show up and he's a developer. And I requested we want him to show which thing this would be.
Are we going to put a delay on it, or what are we going to do?
Maybe we should first have to get if it's possible.
Mr. Tapia, are you in Greenfield or are you somewhere else?
Coaching. I coach youth in Salinas at the school district. So I was there at my job today, so I was unable to make it back out there. So I just wanted to be on the Zoom. And I'm not sure why the camera's not allowing me to access it right now.
I have a question, Braulio. Did you speak to him personally or did you leave a message?
I believe I left a message.
You left a message. Did you let them know that we would like to see them in chamber or you just said tomorrow?
No, all I did was inform him of the meeting that will be taking place at City Hall at 6 p.m. But I did not personally request them to be here.
Okay.
They want to see me. Okay, I don't know how to do it. Here's the good thing. Okay.
Okay. I think it's all right with the rest of the council. I think we move forward with the interviews, with them them not online, with them not on camera, and we move that way in a situation. So if he's able to get on camera, that would be fine. But if he's not, let's move forward with the interviews. We owe it to the rest of the candidates. All right.
Yeah, yeah. For whatever reason, it's not this Zoom is not allowing me to access my camera for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the more button on it on the Zoom, and it's not. I can see the raise hand, the unmute, the interpretation, and disconnect or join as panelist.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Join as a panelist.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Can you see me now or no?
No, we cannot.
Oh, gosh.
It looks like the video is on now, but it's just a black screen.
but I'm gonna try to see if I can do it from my tablet. If not,
There you are.
Okay, there we go.
Very good. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
I need to know numbers. Mr. Tipton, which number do you have? Number 4. Number 4. Mr. Dominguez, what do you have? Number 1. And Mr. Vasquez? Number 2. All right, perfect. All right. I think we'll go in order this first time, and we're going to switch it around just a little bit. I'm going to ask question number 5 first. Do we have, who would like to ask the questions on, do you want to select the one that was yours? Okay, who has number 5? Whose question was that?
I don't even remember what question. It's been too long.
All right. Ariana, you go ahead and ask that first question.
So we'll go 5 up.
We're going to 5 out.
Okay.
All right. And
Yes.
Rachel, which one was yours?
3.
3. All right.
They're 5. I was trying to figure out which one's mine.
No, I'm.
You're 4. Okay. I'm
4.
so you were 4.
I'm 4. No, so we're doing.
You're 4.
So we're not just on the question.
Going to number 2. Number 2 is your- All right. Now we got that straight.
Where's that? We need ad.
Yeah, yeah. Keep it straight there.
Doing a fine job.
All right. So, first person up is Mr. Dominguez. And Ariana, you'll be asking the first question.
So just to clarify, the first question I'm going to be asking is actually question number 5 on your guys' document.
Sounds good.
Thank you for being here tonight, Mr. Dominguez. My question is to better understand your skills and accomplishments, please provide information about your background, highlighting your key achievements, which demonstrate why you're well suited for the open seat.
Well, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for having me here. It's a big pleasure to even be thought of as a council member. So it's awesome. So thank you again. To get started, I believe I am qualified for different reasons. I've been working for our school district for a little over 8 years now, and I'm proud to be part of our district. I'm a sped teacher. I work with students that have mild, moderate identifications right now. I am a local student here. I actually went to school from kinder all the way to high school, and I graduated in 2008. I reached my bachelor's degree from Sac State. I was up there for a little while, and I would come back to work here, and I was always connected to our community here. So I saw our community change quite a bit, and I also saw it stay a little bit the same. And I am fortunate enough to have reached my master's degree most recently from CSUMB, so that I can teach my SPED students without any worries. I know how hard some students, some people can struggle with school. So I'm very grateful that I was able to get that accomplishment out of the way. And now I can better focus on my community. Oh, and I forgot to mention one thing. I'm a family man. I have 2 beautiful children and a beautiful wife.
Very good. Thank you.
So we're going to do all the candidates.
You're going to do all your candidates. So we're going to switch now
Sounds great.
to Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you.
Mr. Vasquez.
Can we clarify though, about if a committee, then the commission appointment is worried and not just her that. Yeah. So Mr. Vasquez, last council meeting was appointed to the planning commission. So if he is appointed to council tonight, he would have to relinquish that role. He can't be on both because the planning commission is an advisory body to the city council.
Oh, let me repeat the question for you, Ms. Rankin. Thank you for being here as well. The question was to better understand your skills and accomplishments. Please provide information about your background, highlighting your key achievements, which demonstrate why you're well suited for the open seat.
Well, my question is, I work together with the city councils and everything's coming to the agenda. That's what I think. I'm working for the the city of Greenfield.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Tapia, you're up next for this question.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to just be part of this moving function. Part of my qualifications, that I'm proud of, or my achievements, is becoming the first Latino president at Hartnell College, right? And being able to take on a role as a leader and be able to develop future cadre of leaders that were coming forward with new ideas, and they were from South County, Monterey, and just local people from Monterey County, right? But most important of all, that that we were keeping in mind that everybody has different ideologies and criterias and different plans of action, and so being able to soften the language and whatnot to understand the meaning of togetherness, and so for us, doing this in the community of Greenfield, or the city of Greenfield, is going to be something that I look forward to with a new, fresh lens, new ideas, and a young voice. So I'm just willing to do whatever it takes to become a conduit of information for the people. So hopefully that works.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Tipton.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Over the last 4 years, I was a council member. Prior to that, I was, as Ms. Garcia mentioned, I was on the Planning Commission, including chair, for 7 years. I was also on the Greenfield Fire Protection District's Board of Directors for 5 years. And I was asked to be on that because I had a history of being in the fire service. I was in the fire service for 7 years up in Ben Lomond. I was in the fire service for 2 years in Bernalillo County, New Mexico, which is Albuquerque's outside area. And one of the things I've noticed is I've always wanted to give back to the community. But one of the things I actually also wanted to bring up during this is, where I know you are, as the council, are aware of this, is that this is more than just 2 days a month. This is several meetings outside. This is several meetings with your constituents. This is several of your outside committees as well. And I've shown leadership in those as well as being on the council. I was elected as the alternate vice president for the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority. And that was elected out of all of the 9 people that were actually on the board. So that's one of the areas where I've really shown leadership. I've also shown leadership with the Fire Protection District as we were going through and merging with the city, and we were going through and trying to figure out how we were going to go through and merge and take the district's operations over with the city. And that ended up resulting in a city fire department, but there is still a fire district, if you weren't aware. There's a fire district outside the city limits that is still governed by a fire district board of directors, and they contract with the city for that operation. So I don't know if you guys were aware that that was still the case or not, but that was one of the other areas where I showed leadership, was trying to build that relationship. That was when City Manager Stanton was still here, and we went through and built the relationship, built the fire department basically from scratch here from the ground up, to make sure that we were delivering the correct fire service and medical service for the city of Greenfield and for the surrounding district. So I believe I've shown leadership not only on the council, but outside the council in many ways. Thank you.
Mr. Tipton, if you could remain up there, we'll have you answer the next question.
Okay.
Councilwoman Martinez, go ahead and ask your question.
Now I'm my turn.
Yep.
With my so-called question number 2, if I'm not mistaken. And just to clarify, I had several attempts of different questions. And I think the last one I did submit was something around environmental justice because of the whole CEQA. But I guess Anne picked one for me, which is great. So my question is, Mr. Tipton, are you a team player that works well with others? Please give examples.
I'll build upon what I just said about being a team player. Again, I was actually asked to be on the Fire District Board of Directors after one of their members passed away, because I'd shown, as working with the city, as working with the Planning Commission, I'd shown the capability of working with the Fire District Board of Directors at that point to build a rapport and to build a relationship there, to work with them when new companies and new businesses were coming to town to make sure that the fire department was completely involved. Going forward, again, working with the Solid Waste Authority, working with the Broadband Authority, working with the council to showcase how we go through and how we work to build relationships with our constituents and showcase all of the good work that the city has done.
Now we go with number 3, Mr. Raul.
This would be Mr. Tapia.
Okay. Mr.
All right, thank you.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Sure, why not?
So the question is, are you a team player that works well with others? Please give examples.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I do consider myself a team player. I was participating in a thinking tank over at UC Berkeley, where I received my BA in sociology. And there was a particular policy that we were working on at the time. If I remember correctly, it was a Prop 47. We were working on that, and it took a lot of teamwork and a lot of research, and pretty much putting down the information together and the language that would actually help and assist with the population that was being overly excessively convicted with drug related charges or whatnot, right? So with that said, a team player, I consider myself one as well, because I used to coach Little League baseball, and that was one of the beginning stages of creating team players. It's not just myself, it's everybody involved in the team. So each one of us brings a particular flavor to the table, and at the end, once we put everything together in the mixing bowl, it creates something real beautiful. So like I said, I think that becoming that team player, or that somebody that would consider themselves a team player, would really hold themselves to a higher standard and be able to delegate information with a compassionate manner.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Vasquez. Would you like to hear the question again, Mr. Vasquez?
Do you want to hear the question? My question is, are you a team player that works well with others? Please give examples.
For example, I work together with the city council and some benefit to the city of Greenville.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Dominguez.
You don't have to repeat the question.
Are you sure, Mr. Dominguez?
Yes. The answer is yes. I am a team player. From coaching softball most recently. It's been very fun to do that. To more complicated tasks, to running IEP meetings. An IEP is an individualized education program plan that is written not by yourself, but with the team. And it can be a very difficult, complicated thing to write. So when you're writing this, you're not working only with yourself, you're working with speech and language pathologists, you're working with school administrators, you're working with school psychologists, and most importantly, you're working with parents. And when you're doing that, you really have to be able to hear people out and really understand, the trajectory that they're trying to take to really help them as a team player. So yes, I do see myself as a team player. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Ortiz, I'm going to have you go ahead with your question. The first person up will be Mr. Vasquez.
Hello, Mr. Vasquez. My question is, District 1 has a mixture of newer and older neighborhoods and reaches from north and south of Highway 101. How will you address this area and make sure that all District 1 residents are heard? And how important do you think it is to meet with city management and staff on a weekly basis regarding city matters?
For me, it's very important to work with the city manager, explain what the condition of the senior citizen in my district. the same even when my district is so many, had a lot of problems. We cannot, anybody knows, another area. If in case I go, not house for house, I maybe it's one block, I go to talk to some of the neighbors, what's really happened about the senior citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go with Mr. Tapia.
Would you like me to repeat the question, Mr. Tapia?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You know, I think that if we become, if we begin to braid and blend, both north and south, and part of District 1, and make yourself available for any type of dialogue or conversation, would be a great start to begin, the processes in regard to being able to amplify the community's voice, right? So by doing so, like I said again, you make yourself available. You show up. You show up to whatever services they have out there rendering at any given point in time. And like I said, this is not something that you just do twice a month. This is going to be a thing of almost on a daily basis. You'll be on call pretty much in a sense, right? So to me, utilizing any networks that you may have, city manager, city attorneys, whoever it may be, you actually be of service to them as well, and become available for them as also. That way, they get to know you, they get to be more familiarized with your style of work. That way, you could actually, deliver a sound and pure message.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go to Mr. Tipton, please.
So I'll address the second part of it first, which is the relationship with the city manager and the city staff. As Mr. Wood knows, I have no problems with reaching out to him and meeting with him on a weekly basis. I did that for 4 years, constantly, routinely going over our 1 hour allotted time, simply because I had that many questions and concerns to bring to him. So I have no problems with continuing that. I also have existing relationships with most of the senior city staff, with Chief Mixer, with Chief Langborg, with Ms. Tugel, with Mr. Mugen. I definitely would continue those and make sure that any concerns that are brought up would be addressed with city staff. Now, as to the 3 sections of the city, or actually there are more sections of the city, more sections in District 1 than just the 3, but there are 3 major ones. I already had a system set up where I had my email and my cell phone available to anybody who was asking, even if they were outside my district prior to that, because our district was the whole city. So I answered questions and concerns from anybody that brought them up. But one of the things I would definitely think about doing with this particular district is I would set up office hours in the individual locations. So I'd find a location, like, for example, there's a nice park across the street over here. I would go set up in that park maybe 1 day a week, set a time for that, make sure everybody knows what it is, have everybody come over if there's any concerns, address them, meet 1 day at Starbucks, meet 1 day at the elementary school down here, and do something like that, and make sure that I was more accessible, make sure that everybody knew that at least 1 day a week or 1 day every other week that they could come and meet me and get their concerns addressed. And again, always I would have my email and my cell phone available to them.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Dominguez.
Thank you again. And we're addressing question 3. No, I would not have any problem meeting once a week with our city manager. It would be a pleasure to get to know him more. And actually, I would have a lot, to talk to him about the city, because I've lived here my whole life. And I think now is the time when I can be that voice to advocate and speak for our local residents, right? Furthermore, yes, there is a great mixture of newer and older neighborhoods in our area right here. And I've noticed that there are some things that do need to be worked on. An idea would be, creating that connection between the merchants and the locals, and working toward bringing them together, right? So I used to work in a downtown Sacramento partnership, and we used to work with the city merchants, and they would have funds for us to pay individuals to actually socialize with the locals. And also, if there was people that were not local, for example, the Tesla people, that you know, they have to charge their cars, they're here for an X amount of time. So we'd hire people. It'd be usually a group of 2 people that would walk around for about 8 hours a day. That's how their job was, to walk around and just talk to people, see what the problems were. They also facilitated like minor things that the police couldn't really get to, like minor thefts, you know, stuff like that. They would do the reports and then they would submit that to the police. And also lost children. If there was ever a case of lost children, there was always a person that was on radio or on call, so that we can start looking for that children, working with the police department. So that was little connections that we did with the merchants, and that was funded by them. And then we would also bring like stuff like ice rinks and Ferris wheels for their children, because we'd also use those funds to bring fun stuff for them. And also looking at different things that we can improve with the infrastructure, how we can better connect that street and Walnut, that bridge. We can look at different options. I had an idea of a walking overpass for like a bike path and stuff like that to connect those the district better and to make it safer for the citizens. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem. And we'll have Mr. Tapia start on this one.
Good evening, Mr. Tapia.
Good evening.
My question is question 4. If appointed to District 1, what would be your top 3 priorities for your district?
Top 3. Top 3 priorities for me would obviously be wanting to engage the people, obviously, right? Engage the people, be able to, number 1, deliver the sound pure message that the people want to deliver, and to begin to build on the honest and good business relationship between, you know, the community and the business owners locally, and possibly, you know, the beautifying of Greenfield, you know, maybe with some potential art programs, maybe some youth out there that would be doing some art around the city and stuff like that, right? Again, the beautification of Greenfield, you know, and maybe like the gentleman said earlier, Mr. Vasquez, I believe, in regard to maybe health and wellness as well, you know, something that would create some type of movement, like kind of like what they did in Salinas with the Ciclovia. Bring that flavor into town with the bikes and stuff like that, you know. I know, something like that, you know. And also, like I said, again, just maybe talk to the community and see what they want, you know, see what they would like to see to be developed within the next plan. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vasquez.
Mr. Vasquez, do you need me to read the question again?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if appointed to District 1, what would be your top 3 priorities for your district?
Can you explain it to me? I can answer you. Can you tell me again?
Read it again?
No.
Okay. If you are appointed to District 1, what would be the top 3 priorities for your district?
But there is one, the city of Greenfield, we need to promote clean up the streets. Second, the parking for the cars. How many cars in the parking is safe for 3 to 4 months in a week, and then more. We need to work, the police work together. And then maybe we need to modify when the people comes, look the Camino Real. Because the Camino Real, when somebody come and no, you don't see anything. No trees, no flowers, nothing. I mean, if you don't put something like a before you have when you come from Salinas, put something like a Salinas Swing, a bigger thing, go to Greenfield. You want to need, and then when when you come from the Queen City, and when you come into Salinas, you need to be what I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tipton?
Do you need to repeat it or you got it?
I've got it.
Okay.
The top three goals and the top priorities for District 1. I think the first one would have to be education going outbound and inbound. Let me figure out what's going on with the district, figure out what the district wants, but also going out and educating the district on what's coming into them. Because I know that not a lot of them are aware of the housing project and things like that. So work with them to make sure that they understand what's going on, what's coming in, talk about the Walnut Overpass project that's still going on, talk about the housing that's coming in, talk about all of the stuff that's going on in District 1 that they may not know about. The second priority would have to be recreation. We need to push on that park and the community center that we've been working on for 3 years now. So we definitely need to work on that. We need to push on that. We need to get that up and running because a lot of people are starting to complain that they don't have any recreation over the summer, especially with the pool being closed down. They're looking for a pool. They're looking for a water park. They're looking for things to go do for their kids. And we definitely want to make sure we get that community center up and running as soon as we can. And I think the third one would still have to go back to infrastructure, simply because infrastructure in our city is aging. We need to replace that. We need to work on that. And infrastructure is lots of things. Infrastructure is streets, infrastructure is sewer, infrastructure is water, infrastructure is our aging sewer treatment plant that we need to replace that is in the works. Infrastructure is all of this that makes the city what it is. And I know there are areas in District 1 that need to be updated. And that's one of the things that we need to do is we need to make sure that we're getting that input in so that Ms. Tugel with Public Works can make sure that that's prioritized appropriately. Simply because another district may need something as well, we need to make sure we're balancing out between the districts. We can't preference one district over the other simply because, oh, well, that's a different district. No, there's reasons behind that. And I understand too that a lot of District 1 is covered by LLMDs. And again, that's a different case altogether because there's money put aside for that some of the older houses don't have. So we need to work to figure out sources of funding for the older part of the community so we make sure they're treated the same as the newer part of the community.
Thank you. Mr. Dominguez.
Mr. Dominguez, do you need it read or you got it?
No, I think I'm fine. So I've appointed to District 1. Yes, I do have 3 main goals. My first goal is to learn. It's always good to have open ears and just learn, especially about the systems, because systems can change and things can change, periodically. So you need to know what's going on all the time. So always to learn and improve myself and how to run those systems, right? And the second thing is to evaluate and improve our local recreation. This gentleman just states some very good points. For example, I am a local resident here. I always take my children to Baywood Park. You probably don't know where that park is, but it's right here. And yes, it does need a lot of updating and stuff like that. There are times when I'm out there pulling weeds myself. And yes, so I do see some work that needs to be done in those areas. And I believe that is District 1. And yeah, maybe bringing back a swimming pool or the ideas of a swimming pool or some other recreation opportunities that our students may need. I do have some wild ideas I would like to bring, such as like a indoor soccer field that can be used to, we could market, right, to bring attractions here. We can market the gorge. We have the Arroyo Seco Gorge. We can bring a fishing pond, which is not really hard to make. And it would really attract a lot of people here. We could hold derbies, different kinds of competitions like that. So that would be part of recreation, right? Also updating of what we already have. So that would be the evaluation process of what do we have, what's good about what we have, and then how can we improve that? And my third goal would be to evaluate the local infrastructure and the cleaning of our city. So you would create systems or see what systems we have now. For example, when we were at the Downtown SAC Partnership, we had a navigator committee that was focused on homelessness. So homelessness, we can see as an ever-increasing thing that's happening, right? And it's sad, but it's true. But there's ways that you can target that. And before it can become an actual problem. And also like focusing on quote unquote, beautifying the city by cleaning it up, because our city is beautiful, but how can we make it better? One way would be to clean up things that we see. So if we have somebody that, for example, I was talking about those, we call them guides. those people that would walk around. We called those people guides. They would also walk around and they would see, okay, if there was tagging, they would take a picture of it, send it to a team would show up and clean it up. And it was a well-oiled machine. Our streets were clean. People were coming into Sacramento and it was amazing. So those are my 3 top goals.
Thank you. Can I have you stand? Go ahead and stay there. Last question. Can you share with us an example of when you made a decision when there were many different viewpoints and you knew the decision would not please everyone?
So, yes. One of the things that comes to mind right away is I work with students, and usually the students I work with, I don't just have them for 1 year. I have them for about 3 years, if I'm lucky. So there was this case, where the student, he needed the best placement for him. So we went through a whole process of evaluations. We had to meet as a team over and over. And regardless of cost, we put him where he needed to be. And that was a very iffy situation because it is pretty pricey, and some people were like, wait, well, we can do things better this way. But I knew the best path for my student at that point, and I knew I had my team's. I knew my team had my back at that point. So we had to make the hard decision to send our student off to another school, and it worked out for him. So that was one of the students. That's one of the stories that comes to mind.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tipton.
Honestly, after sitting up there for 4 years, too many to count. Seriously speaking, though, I think the biggest one that comes to my mind is the Avila Housing Project. When I was sitting on the planning commission when that went through, and I was one of the sole votes against it because it didn't meet the requirements of the specific plan area or of the Greenfield City policies. It still passed. It went through, came to council. Fortunately, I was on council by the time it got to council, so I got to vote on it again. And I was his only no vote against it, simply because, again, it went through, it was against the specific plan, it was against the rules. And at that time, we were being pressured by the city attorney. It wasn't you, Ms. Thompson. We were being pressured by the city attorney to vote for it simply to reduce the liability to the city. And I refused to do that simply because it was against the rules. It was against the policies. It was clear cut that it was not a viable project according to our guidelines, but yet it still went through and was approved.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Vasquez.
When I make my decision to vote, I vote together with the same. Like for example, I vote to vote together for the same thing in the agenda. I have another thing. Really, was the District 1 covered? What are they covered? How many streets covered? District 1.
How many streets does District 1 cover?
Which one is that? So District 1.
District 1 is very large. It covers quite an area. Well, all sides, both sides of the freeway.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tapia. Braulio, I think he's muted.
Yeah, can you guys repeat the question, please?
Yes, sure. Can you share with us an example of when you have made a decision when there were many different viewpoints and you knew the decision would not please everyone?
Well, being part of the Rotary, the Hartnell Rotary president, there was many decisions, sometimes having to be made. And at one point, I remember that everybody wanted to go to the Los Angeles, LAX, Sheraton Hotel for a huge conference, right? Which was gonna be very costly to us, and we had the funding for it. It's just that there was gonna be another convention that we could have attended for way cheaper. and it was more meaningful for what we were doing, and so I voted against it and basically being the president at the last say. But people were upset with me, and it's not personal, it's something that business is business, and day in, day out, and if we could save an honest dollar and actually spend less and something that's more meaningful, I think that speaks volumes, and to be able to again make that decision, it's like I said, again, it's not personal. It's just, like I said, it's something that is beneficial for the whole cadre of leaders. So I think that becoming, assertive in your decision making, and that at that point, if you're concise and everything like that, you're going to be able to make a good valid point and why you're making that decision and stand your ground.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. That concludes the questions. We will now bring it back to city council comments.
This is kind of off topic a little bit, but just for reference. So had we gone to election, how long would somebody have served?
So the election wouldn't even have occurred until November of this year. And so then they would then serve the full term that this till 2026, I believe. Yeah.
Right.
So the reason that this is a shorter term is because the legislature favors an election over an appointment. And so if that person had been elected, they would serve the whole rest of incoming mayor pro tem term.
Thank you for that. I did want to say that in hindsight, if I had to do it over again, I would have really urged council to go to election. I think the whole premise of having districts was for each district to have a voice of their choosing, just like the district I'm in and everyone else, and the one that Mayor Pro Tem is in. And I think that we really did a disservice to District 1 by not allowing election and letting them make up their mind and putting who they wanted in there. But having said that, I mean, we are where we are right now. And so we just make the best of it and we move forward. And I just wanted to say that so that District 1 would know that after a lot of thinking and asking a lot of questions and phone calls and text messages, I hope to do better if we line up in this position again, that I would do better, ask more questions, and really do a better job of getting that information out to whichever district it is and let them make the decision on what needs to be done. Thank you.
All right. Any other city council comments?
I have several, but I actually just kind of in response to what Councilmember Ortiz is saying, district to the comment that we didn't give District 1 the opportunity to put who they wanted in that seat. They did, but it was just, a few months before this move was going to happen. So because of that, I think that I'm really interested to hear what Mayor Pro Tem Untalan's opinion is on this, because she is the one that the district has entrusted. They already put their vote of confidence in her. So if I could ask for her to start to share her thoughts, since this is her district and her constituents voted to give her that voice for them.
Thank you, Councilmember Rodriguez. I do want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who's applied. Just kind of, going back to the reason why I ran in 2018 was to serve my community. Unfortunately, something happened to my oldest son at the time, and I felt like the city was not holding the city, the police department, everybody involved was not holding these specific people accountable for, the accident that happened with my 13-year-old at the time. And so that's what got me here. That's what pushed me to run. And that was my viewpoint since day one is to do for my community what I felt hadn't been done for me and my family. And I do feel that I've accomplished a lot within my 5 years or so here, especially with the whole, school zone safety. And unfortunately, I didn't know that I'd be moving. Many of you know that my late husband passed in 2019. I did not know that I was going to meet somebody else and get married and move within the year of meeting him. It's crazy, but it's been amazing. And he's a great man. And at this time, I really need to do what's best for my family and myself. So when I ran last year, that it wasn't even on my mind to move. I thought I'd be here for the next 4 years. I thought I'd be serving my community. I thought I'd be the librarian at Arroyo Seco Academy. I thought I'd be coaching at the high school. I thought all of this. So it's a little offensive for Councilmember Ortiz to continue to speak kind of negatively of my choices in my district, because my heart really is in Greenfield. I was born and raised here. I'm probably going to be back later on in life. So we are at where we are at, unfortunately, but fortunately for myself. And, with that, I just want to thank everybody who's applied. I've said this before on the dais. I respect everybody who is here because it does take a lot to sit up here, not just mentally, but it takes a lot emotionally. It really does. And I'm sure if you haven't experienced it, you will. Trust me. And you're going to say the same thing I did all these years that I've been up here. It's a love-hate relationship, but you love what you do for your community, but sometimes you just hate everything that comes with it. And that's the truth. I'm really excited that we had 5 applicants. Unfortunately, the 5th didn't show, but we have 4 gentlemen here present who want to serve our beautiful community. And that alone speaks volumes. I would like to ask each of them, I know that we got their application. I know that we've asked our questions, but I would like to ask each of them to come up and just tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you think we would like to know. And I know, Drew, we know probably so much about you already, but just to give the other ones that, Mr. Tapia, I don't know who you are, but, if you can just speak on yourself, Mr. Dominguez, if you'd like to speak on behalf of yourself. And I know you said you were a lifelong resident, so I think that alone speaks volumes because you know the needs of our community. But just, to hear a little more about them for our final decision before our final decision is made.
Okay. Does anyone volunteer to go first? I think Mr. Dominguez is coming up. So.
Thank you. For big dice. Well, yeah, I just like Emma Sansalon said, I did grow up here. And a lot of what I've seen is, our kids in the town has a lot of potential. And by our kids, I mean our youth. I believe that right now, technology does play a big part in the youth's lives, but I believe that there's potential to give them more skills. I know that my mom, she's not in this country right now, but she talks to me about the youth that's around her where she's at, and a lot of them know how to have skills like they know how to sew. They know a lot about history and stuff like that. So I believe that bringing that local history to Greenfield, that aspect of Greenfield, to really grow that sense of community here, because a lot of kids feel like they don't belong here, or they might feel like they don't belong here. And I want them to feel like they do belong here, and that they do matter, and that they have potential to be better. And our job is to provide them with those resources that they need to be able to be better, whatever it may be. If it's basketball or if it's a bike, I know you ride bikes, sir, and so do I, and you know how expensive it can be. And growing up, I could never afford it. So we got to think about the youth. So that's a big part of my heart. I believe that we can make a lot of what we have now is people that are consumers. You know, they like to buy, but they're not really producing much. They don't really have the skills to make something. You know, it could be anything, like I mentioned. So I believe that we can give those kids skills. We can provide them a pathway to different kinds of programs to learn different things. But I believe it has to start somewhere. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Tipton or Mr. Vasquez, would you like to come up and say a few words on behalf of yourself?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Anything that you want to share.
Well,
Anything you would like to share about.
if you elect me, I would like to work together just for the better thing, the Greenfield only. Yes.
Thank you.
I'll make this short and sweet. When I moved here 18 years ago, it was touted as the 4th fastest growing city in California. I want to see us get back to that. That's what I want to see. That's my goal for the community. I want to see us be fast growing. I want to see us bringing in commercial and industrial. I want to see us bring in housing. I want us to bring in all the stuff that everybody is asking for. And I want to be here to do it the right way.
Thank you. Mr. Tapia.
Thank you. Once again, thank you, everybody. You know, I'm willing to do and say anything that needs to be done, right, in regards to the community. And I do see the younger generations that are coming forward, you know, with the urge of wanting and desiring more for the city of Greenfield, right? And so, you know, and being in these conversations with certain folks that have interest in wanting to develop certain things, you know, like I said, creating more businesses within the community, you know, and being successful at it. You know, of course, you know, again, for me, health and wellness is a big topic for me. You know, having to deal with the folks here, you know, just making sure that we deliver the message sounding clear to them, you know, and we're able to translate whatever language is being discussed at our level to the community and their understanding. You know, again, being able to deliver that pure and sound, I think, is one of my biggest promoters, you know, right now, you know, and I feel that by utilizing also the generations that were there already prior to us, you know, given, you know, being able to connect that the elders with the youth, you know, and be able to share even stories of Greenfield back when, you know, certain things were happening in a certain way, right, and how to maintain the city the way it is, and be able to amplify the people's voice, you know.
All right. Thank you very much. We're still on city council comments. So.
Yeah, I guess my comment is thanking everyone that applied as well. And it's really important, like Councilmember Rodriguez mentioned, to get the feedback from Mayor Pro Tem, because I know that how much you care about your district and you really want to make sure that you put that person into that right position. And just really thanking you too, Mayor Pro Tem, for everything that you have done. I know that I was just at a conference in Seaside, and a lot of electeds are still shocked that you're leaving us, including Mayor Oglesby, who sends his best wishes. But they're proud of you because exactly what you're doing here, that you are giving us your insight on who's gonna carry the baton for you, and we all know how much you do care about that district. Sadly, our other applicant isn't here, and I hope there's nothing there, an emergency, because I know he applied since July 10th as well, and that was concerning, and his application as well, like the many folks that are here today, was amazing. I mean, just the insight that he has with the youth, and that's something that I'm passionate about. And I really want to tell Mr. Dominguez, just hearing you speak right now gave me chills, because believe it or not, I do live in Mayor Pro Tem's district. And I know that that's going to be the district of my children, and seeing that there could be leadership in that position that really care about the youth, including my children, is powerful. So more power to you. And also, Mr. Tapia, hearing the comments that you brought forward regarding everything that you've been involved and you're currently involved with our Greenfield LULAC as well. Thank you for that. I mean, Drew, I also want to thank you because you continue to want to be a part of the city. And Mr. Vasquez, you are such a champion. You never give up. You continue to show up at every meeting. And I just love that about you. You're persistent. And it's going to be a very tough decision. And I don't know how we're going to play that out, but I just wanted to kind of throw in there my sentiments.
All right. Any other comments?
I too just want to thank everybody because I didn't, when I first spoke and asking Mayor Pro Tem to share her thoughts, but I was in your shoes not too long ago, so I know how nerve-wracking it is. I always say it's the most public interview that I've ever been a part of, and I've been a part of a lot of like panel interviews, and I know how nerve-wracking it is. I thank you for putting yourself out there and coming to do this and talk to us today. And all of your applications were great. So I do want to say that you guys, have given us a lot to think about. I think that is why we all feel this is a very difficult decision. But thank you to anybody who steps up and wants to do something for their community.
All right. I will also echo and want to thank everybody for coming forward, but we only have one spot and nobody's giving us any opinions here. So
well, if no one else has comment, I would like to make a motion.
Sure.
Okay. I really feel that, my district elected me. They put their trust in me to make the best decisions on behalf of District 1. And in my heart, I really feel that coming with the background and knowledge that this person has, I think he would do a fabulous job. So I'll move to elect.
Select.
Appoint. Okay, I'll move to appoint Mr. Luis Dominguez as the new District 1 council member.
And I will second that.
All right. Any comments? Been moved and seconded. I think we'll go ahead and let's do a roll call vote.
Mayor White,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Antolan,
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez,
Yes.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations. Again, thank you to all who put their name out. We will end the meeting at that. Thank you very much.